Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. This is a bit of a catch-up video, so this footage is going to be a little bit all over the place. Hopefully it all, works and makes sense. So this is my sort of plan with me, shop with me video that I normally put out just before I go on my grocery shop. And then do the grocery shop supply run afterwards. However, I left home without getting the planning video done. My mum works from home now, so I didn't really have her place to work at. I was going to do it in my car, but I've got no air conditioning and it was hot and it was a really busy few days and I just didn't get it done. So what I did was I still took all the footage to see how it would work, and then I was going to do it when I got back, except then I had to do the grocery. Anyway, all that to squirrel and say, this is the shop and plan with me video for my October trip. I only shop 6 times a year, so this is my October supply run trip, and this covers more of the miscellaneous things that I buy that aren't just food. So if you want to see the food, I'll link the grocery haul video as well, but this is more the extra stuff that I get and how I plan it, but also it's some footage of inside the shops, though I'm not very good at these yet. I am really aiming to get better at vlogging over Christmas, so we're going to try and do the Vlogmas, which will be a little bit easier. The kids are going to take December off schooling and things like that, so hopefully I'll be able to swing it. We'll see how we go. So enjoy anyway, and hopefully it all lines up eventually once I finish adding in a few bits and pieces to the footage that I've got. So before I left the house, I checked all my inventory, as I always do. I checked my freezer. Now we've got plenty of sausages left, some bolognese frozen, there's blanched broccoli, some roast potatoes, a couple of frozen meals, and we've got frozen bananas and stuff for smoothies. There's plenty of food, but just not necessarily interesting stuff. The fridge is almost empty. The bottom of the fridge seems to have this like plastic coating that lifts and it makes it look really bad, but it's been cleaned properly. I don't know why that is there or why it's coming up or what we've done, but anyway, but it makes it look grubby, but it's clean. We've cleaned it, and it's mostly empty. And then we've got the canned goods shelves, which still has some hamper stuff in there that we go through a lot slower because we don't always use our hamper stuff. A few jars of pesto left, some tinned tomatoes, a few corn, coconut cream, that sort of thing. There's also a bottle of Bailey's sitting on that shelf for some reason. I'm not sure why. I buy it every second Christmas or so because we have some like Toblerone cocktails and it's sitting there. I don't know why it's been moved to that shelf, but hey, didn't notice it at the time. So we don't have a huge stock of things because we just don't have the space. There's enough there to get us through a few weeks if we needed to. Like if the grocery supply run got knocked back, we'd manage for a couple of weeks. There's enough meat there. There's enough frozen vegetables. There is some more bagged frozen vegetables in the other freezer as well. I don't generally show the other freezer. It's the bottom of a fridge and it's just like 3 drawers, and basically all we keep in there is smoothie pops and the frozen vegetables. We do have an upright freezer as well that has miscellaneous things in it, but that is mostly full of things like pastry that I don't want to get broken in the chest freezer. Some cheese, so like grated cheese and that, so I don't have to go it doesn't get lost in the chest freezer. The kids Ninja Creamy tubs, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't generally show that. It's very much miscellaneous. What we're using right now, the chest freezer, is like the stores of food. We also have the top half of that fridge that's all open condiments. You don't want them in the chest fridge because it's just too hard. Things get knocked over, make a mess. So like open sauces, open mayos, open cordials, all that sort of stuff goes in that top fridge, and they have a drawer which they store their apples in because that's the easiest thing to access out of that. So plenty of food there, just not a whole lot of easy food or food that we'd necessarily want to be eating constantly, but still plenty of food. So what I do once I do my inventory is I do my planner sheets. So these sheets are available on the website if you'd like to have a look at them. I'll put a link in the comments in the description of the video, and you can download these planner sheets. A blank one, and I think I offer ones with already filled out to give you an idea as well. The inventory sheets I use for looking at what I've got. So what I do is I mark down what's left on the shelf, what I'd like my base quantity to be, and how much I need to bring it back to that base quantity, and I use that as my shopping list. I do tend to adjust this a little as I'm shopping. So I use GoodNotes on my iPad, but I can access it on my phone as well. So I can bring these inventory sheets up on my phone as well. And when I'm shopping, sometimes when I'm doing online shopping or in-person shopping, sometimes I'll assess what's on this list, and I might drop it down a little bit, especially when I compare it to the previous shop. Like if I bumped it up to that quantity, but then we had a whole lot left over. Sometimes I don't really need to do that, so I will adjust the quantities based on that. Things like pasta this month I did, because Darryl and I aren't going to be eating pasta this month, so I don't need to bump the quantities up quite as much, because instead of having like 3 bags of pasta for a meal with leftovers, there will only require to be 2. So a few of those things were altered sort of just on the fly while I'm doing it, and then I'll assess again for this one. So things like dried pasta, the udon noodles, the ramen noodles, that kind of thing was adjusted a little bit in numbers sometimes when I was doing it. But in general, I adjust them as I'm filling them out as well. So if there's certain things that end up being variable for seasonal, so like coffee beans, we have a tendency to drink far more hot coffee in winter than we do in summer. But in summer we do have cold brew, and cold brew tends to take a little bit more coffee grind per a hot coffee. We do pour over coffee for hot coffee. But also things like oats. In winter I make instant oatmeal for the kids to make themselves, but in summer I tend to make granola. So there is a variance in how many oats we need depending on the season as well. So my inventory sheets will change with that. I keep all of them, so I've got the last months to refer to and see how much we went through and how much we didn't, and then I can adjust the basics of totals that we need to, and see what we didn't need more of or what we weren't using, and therefore I can adjust accordingly. So these inventory sheets are not only good for marking for the actual shopping, but also good for tracking purposes of what we used and how much we had left each supply run, and then I can refer back to them as well. The other thing I use is this digital planner. Now, I get asked about this digital planner all the time, and it's actually my own. I designed it and created it, but I haven't finished it. There's no linking set up yet. There's no monthly calendars or anything like that. It's really just very much a work in progress. I get asked all the time because every time someone sees it, they say, oh, it looks really good. And it's great. I'm really happy with it, but I just haven't had time to get it finished. It's just one of those things. Ugh, this flies. It's just one of those things that I've been trying to get done and just haven't had the time. It requires a fair bit of like intense concentration to do it, and I haven't really had that lately, not with the shop launch and the art for the products and all that sort of thing on top of everything else. So in this planner, I normally, for each supply run, I have 2 pages set up. I do have a little bit of a calendar notebook as well, but I mainly use this for the planning of the grocery trips, and I have a page where I list all the different shops that I tend to attend and the things that I might need for them, and I do that over the month. So I generally hit Kmart and Bunnings and Big W every month, so those are listed there. And then I have some miscellaneous ones, like this month I wanted food covers, the umbrella style for my kitchen because the ones from last summer have been broken, as they do, and Harris scarf had them on special. There's a Harris scarf at Carindale, so I wanted to go and get those. And sometimes it's things from like Spotlight for the kids, or a new mouse for a computer, or new headphones, or whatever else. So I have those listed there. I then also have a page that for just thoughts and patterns. So if there's any specific meal requests, or there's any specific recipe requests, or things like that, then I put it there. So some added extras and bits and pieces. And I have a little section too for specials. So Woolworths and Coles have half price specials every week. They start on a Wednesday to a Tuesday. So generally speaking, I'm there on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and I will fill that out accordingly, so that if there's something on the Tuesday specials that I really want, I need to order it before the Tuesday, I can get it delivered. So you can get it delivered after the Tuesday, so long as the transaction goes through before that. But if there's something on special Wednesday that wasn't on special on Tuesday, then I want to go in person and grab that thing that's on special on Wednesday. So there's that as well. I also use these because I have rewards points and stuff. So I have everyday rewards, which gets me 10% off a shop at Woolworths and at Big W, but also I earn rewards using the card and purchasing things there. So I always check the specials of like the bonus point type thing, and I have Flybys, which is Bunnings, Kmart and Coles. Now, if I shop in person at Kmart and Bunnings, I get 5 times the Flybuys points because I'm a OnePass member. So I always try and do that, because if I get anything delivered, then I don't get that bonus. So which is why I do the Kmart shop in person. And Coles, I get double Flybuys points with the Coles Plus membership, which is $7 a month, which also gives me 10% off a shop, which is going to make me that $7 a month back easily. And the Everyday Rewards one was $34 for the year, and again, I make that back really quick, really easily. I'll see if I can get a screenshot of the rewards that I've received off that before, like as the total of that too. So I record, you know, the specials there so that I know which one I want to buy from, and if there's extra Flybuys rewards and things like that too. Now, to be honest, this planning was pretty minimal for this supply run. Normally it's far more extensive. I think the problem is that we're, with Darryl and I going ketovore this month, there's a bit up in the air, and until we've run this month, I'm not really going to know exactly what we need and how quantities, because everything's shifted slightly. So I purchased a few things online that we will need, some pork crumbing and some egg white powder and things like that, that I'm going to combine. I bought a bit more, like the plan was to buy more meat, which I did, but I don't know if it's enough for the whole 8 weeks. We're going to have to see. So there's still going to be a little bit of unknown for this supply run, which hopefully I can correct next supply run, though the next one is Christmas, which makes a bit of a difference too. That impacts purchasing as well, but that's what I use most of my rewards points for, is for I buy boxes of green frozen prawns. I always buy them every Christmas because we love prawns, but they're an expensive per kilo kind of a thing. So normally at Christmas I buy whole boxes frozen from the deli at Coles. Generally they have them about $18 a kilo for banana prawns. We'll see how we go, but I have $250 odd worth of Flybuys points, so I might be able to buy 2 boxes again this year, even if they're a little bit more expensive, and then that will be great considering Darryl and I aren't eating a lot of the carbs. So like we won't eat potato salad and things like this year, but the kids still will, and I'm still cooking for the kids fairly normally. We have a fairly good diet. I'm not doing ketovore because I think our diet sucks. I'm doing it to see if it helps with pain related, inflammation related, and Darryl would like to lose some weight, so we're working on it that way, not because I think our diet is really anything wrong with it. So that's how I did the plan. Let's get into the shopping. This video is my shopping video. The shop with me, and every month I say the same thing, or every 2 months, whenever I do it, I will record it and then I'll assess whether I've released it because I do find filming really difficult. But each time I'm doing my shopping, I get a little bit more comfortable pulling my phone out while I'm shopping, so I think they're getting better each time. Now I got away a bit late. It's Wednesday. I got away a bit late. It is like 2:45 and I've just stopped at my normal Hungry Jack's, Burger King for food on the way through. I got going late. I've got 2 big bags of parcels of orders in the back that is to go to the post office while I'm down there, so I wanted to get them packaged up and sorted with postage and things like that. I also potted up 50 odd dwarf tomato seedlings because I wanted them to survive the next week, you know, the next few days and week, because it'll be next week before I get them in the ground, and we don't have any more of those garden covers up yet. So I potted up a whole bunch of tomato seedlings. These are the dwarf Australian open source seeds. So we're hoping we put the indeterminate ones, hopefully I'll have the garden video up before this one comes up, but we put the indeterminate ones in the wicking tubs, and these ones we're going to put in the hooped beds, and they're dwarf tomatoes, so I'm just going to let them go. I'm just going to plant like a whole bed of dwarf tomatoes and we'll just see how it goes, and then we might do that next year as well. That might be the way we do things from now on, but we have to do it at least the first time to assess whether it's going to work. So I potted up all of those. So I have the trailer attached, you can see it out the back there. And I've got the eskies and the tins and the crates and totes and everything else, and I am heading to Mum's place. So by the time I get to Mum's, I probably won't get anything else done today. We will probably order in food and I will just do nothing. I didn't get a chance to do delivery orders for Coles and Woolworths, so I'm going to have to do them in person tomorrow as well as everything else. And I do need to go to Bunnings as well. And I haven't finished the planning video before I left. I took footage of all the fridges and freezers and stuff like that and did all my inventory, but I haven't actually put it in video form yet. And because Mum works from home now, I probably will have to do it in the car maybe. So we'll see how we go with all of that and what gets out, or whether this ends up being part of the planning video, or who knows. So I will bring you along and we will just see what happens as per usual. 9 AM Thursday and I'm just getting moving, so I'm heading to Carindale now to get my day started. I'm meeting a friend for some brunch and then I'll update you as I go. Alright, so it is 2 p.m. already. I got carried away, had lunch, wasted some time, wandered around. It's really warm today. Just did cold. Went and bought a wireless mic for the phone and camera as well that I'll have to set up. And sat down and did some planning. So it's now 3 p.m. and I've just done Woolworths. I went to Spotlight. I got some shrink paper. So we're going to do some Christmas type craft with the shrink paper with the kids. So I went to Spotlight, got that, and then decided to go to Woolworths so I could put all this cold stuff in the esky with the other cold stuff, because it'll keep it colder the more that's in there. So they had chicken thighs with skin on sale for $7 a kilo, so I got a whole bunch of those, and all the enamel stuff, which we'll go over in the groceries anyway. But I'm going to stick all this in the ute, and then I will go to Kmart next, I think. So it's 3 o'clock and we shall head to Kmart. Now, I was hoping to go to the post office today because I got parcels in the back, and there's no post office at Carindale, but there is one at Cannon Hill. The problem is that I needed to go to a JP, and the JP isn't here until 6 p.m. So we'll see how I go for time after doing Kmart and then Aldi, and then we'll assess from there. So Kmart is in a bit of, disarray at the moment. Like, everything is just... So scrounging through, looking for things to do over December. We generally don't do school over December. We generally take all of December off. So I'm just sort of looking at all the different activities that we can do as like Advent, Christmas type sort of thing, and just trying to wade through everything that's here and find things that the kids might enjoy. But I'm trying to also, going through all this stuff is challenging in its own way. So yeah, just trying to figure out what's here. So I got them all new swim shirts. Last year I sewed some. I'll try and put a photo here of the ones that I sewed, and I just don't have time this year. So the cheapest swim shirts I can find, and some swim shorts for them all, some new textures. And then I found these Melty Bead kits. These are only $10 each, and there's 2 boards in each one. So that means that all 6 kids can have a board each. And then for Advent, I thought that these little vending machines would work really well. And then there's clay, as well as a craft activity on one of the days of sort of Vlogmas type thing. And then I've got coloured pencils for those shrink wraps, and then I'm just going to keep on looking at what else is here. So one of the things I really like to do for Christmas is lots of board games, lots of group gifts. So we've got this one here for Darryl, and there's these snake attack, 2 of those, so they can compete against each other with that. This can go in those Advent things. We've got a 6-second scribbles game, a 4-game game in there, a tic-tac-toe bot, block party, air shot, code game, chess set. All those sorts of things work really well as Christmas gifts because they're stuff that they use initially at Christmas time. I did get asked to get some floaty type stuff, and I might grab a few bits and pieces, but we'll see how we go with using them. It really depends on how, this is pretty awesome, but it's 90 centimeters. Is that too big for the pool? And then is there going to be fighting over it? These are pretty cool because they're just you can use them how you want. And this one's similarly, so we might go this sort of thing. They're only $5 each, so we'll just assess. I got sent some buy me a coffee money to spend on the kids, so this might be, the pool stuff might be what I do for them, and we'll see how we go. Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to do this so that this is Christmas done now. And then I've got that. I am running so late. It is 5:20, and I've only just done Kmart, so I still have to do Aldi, and I haven't been to Bunnings. My tail lights aren't working at the moment either, and it's going to storm by the looks of it, so it's dark. It's great. But put the lay-by on at Kmart, which is mostly just the the board games and the Lego and stuff, and then I grabbed all the advent calendar and the swim stuff, and I'm putting that in the car now. So swim shirt, swim shorts, some underwear. I got this face makeup was on clearance for Halloween, and we don't celebrate Halloween, but the kids really like the idea of doing face makeup, so I grabbed them because they were on clearance. And then the bunches of things for Advent, so little dinosaur vending machines, and there's a food one, and there's a mushroom one, and these I will use these to refill the balls and all that sort of stuff, as well as all the craft for the kids. Someone needed a computer mouse, someone needed headphones, and I got some little whiteboard things to do our chore charts up, some more twine for the stars, and yeah, just bits and pieces. Alright, 10 to 6, Big W's done. I had a $200 voucher for Woolworths that I got for selling a Thermomix last month, so the Woolworths groceries were free on that, and then I got half of this paid for using that as well. I also get 10% off Woolworths and 10% off Big W each month, so that's partly why I do what I do. So we got the toilet paper, which is the same price as Costco, but I get 10% off, so it ends up cheaper. I got some paper towels, some dish detergent, and the laundry liquid there as well. And then Surreal needed a swim shirt and stuff. She was the last one to buy for, so got all that, getting it in the car. Aldi are done. I don't think I will do anything else today. I'm pretty sure Bunnings opens at like 7 a.m. in the morning, so I think I'll go there first thing in the morning. I want to buy that smoker, so I really need to go this trip. So yeah, we'll see, but I've got to pack this into the car and then head back to Mum's. Alrighty, it's 6:30 and I'm going. So that's it, done for the day, over, no more. 6:30, that is enough. So I will see you guys tomorrow. $3 p.m. and we're finished at Costco, all packed up. It is really, really warm, and I totally didn't pull my camera out or anything, but I'll show it to you before I unpack it when we get back. And here's some footage from inside the Costco in the meantime, and then I'll show you all the stuff afterwards. So as you can see with the stuff in the car, I did go to Bunnings, but I forgot to film any of it. I think part of the problem was that I was going there specifically for a smoker, and then I grabbed a few extra things as well. I grabbed a couple of pedestal fans that were on sale. They're only 50 watts, which is great for adding into spots in the house. I also bought the kids some more floaties. So thank you to the ladies who sent some coffee money this month, because that's where all this has gone towards, is to those pool toys and stuff. They had some like Australian animal themed ones at Bunnings, so I grabbed those as well. But I couldn't get a smoker, so I spoke to 3 different people who told me that they have no idea when they're coming in. There was nothing at the distribution centre. There was nothing showing when the next order was made. Nothing, which was really frustrating. When I went to Costco, I went to check if they had, because they had a I think it was a master built smoker a couple of trips ago, but they didn't have anything there. So they also had cheap pellets. So if anyone's looking for wood pellets for a pellet smoker, their pellets were 18 kilos for $30, whereas at Bunnings it's 9 kilos for $30. So I'm definitely gonna have to get them next time too and give them a go. But side note, I couldn't get the smoker. Everyone told me there was none, couldn't do it. But then when I was back for a week, Darryl had to go into Toowoomba for a pediatrician visit for one of the kids, and I checked online and the smoker that I wanted was available online. So they seem to be in stock across Queensland, even though apparently there was no record of when they would come. I actually gave my phone number and name over when we were looking for it at Cannon Hill store, and she sent me a text message eventually. It was a long time off, and I think it was 2 days after we had already bought one at Bunnings, saying that they weren't coming in until mid-November. Even though it shows in stock on her store, I got it in stock where I am, which we'd checked previously. I have no idea. Obviously communication there is not real great, but we got a smoker. I'll put a quick photo in here, and we cooked on it for the first time last night too, so I'll put a quick photo of the pork. But so I went to Bunnings to get a smoker, couldn't, was really disappointed, but probably somewhat beneficial, because lifting that, once Darryl bought it and got it home and we had to, yeah, it probably would have been bit painful for us to put it on the ute and stuff. So the only thing I really have as a little bit of a reflection on this, since I'm doing this a bit later, is that I don't know if I bought enough meat. Now, I have found an online meat wholesaler. They're a restaurant supply place that will deliver out here for $70 odd, which is fine so long as you're making an order that's enough that it breaks it down on the dollar per kilo price, because the pricing is really good. I have bought a half a cow previously, and whilst the quality and everything is fantastic, the price is quite high considering you get a lot of sausages and mince in it as well, and I already can do all that. I prefer pork sausages to beef sausages. I do my own mince from the Costco beef, which is still cheaper than the dollar per kilo price from the half a cow. And you get a lot of cuts that you have to figure out what to do with, which is, it's great. It's a learning curve. It makes you use those things and everything else, but it's just not really where I'm at the moment. So this meat online has a carton, so you buy a 20 kilo carton of a particular cut that's broken down in that carton like you would for a restaurant. They have grass-fed, grain-fed, free range, whatever, all different types, all different price, quality, price ratios, all the rest of it. So I think I'm going to buy a couple of cartons from there to give a go to bump our meat supply for this month, because I do think we will run low. I think we probably have enough meat to get through, but not necessarily enough of the meat that we're going to enjoy. We'll have plenty of mince, but, you know, burgers are, you know, they're tasty and all, but it's not the only thing that we want to be eating. And at the beginning of the month, it's great because we have all the fresh veggies, all the low-carb broccoli, and all those sorts of things to eat, and we've been doing that. But as the supply run period, the 8 weeks progresses, we'll have less of those and we'll only have frozen stuff, and frozen stuff just isn't as nice. No matter how I prepare it, no matter what I do, even the store-bought stuff, it's just not as nice as having fresh. We'll tolerate it because we will, but we'll end up more carnivore at the end of the month than we did at the beginning of the month, I'm sure. So we will probably need a bit more meat. So looking back and reflecting on what I bought. Now, I did theoretically buy enough. So when I buy meat for my shopping in general, what I work on is the nutritional values of about 165 grams of meat per person. So we don't necessarily eat that per day. We might eat more than that or less than that. It just depends on what we eat. But that's what I use as like my measuring stick, a bit like my dollar per meal measuring stick. That's not necessarily what each meal costs, but that's my overall measuring stick. Meat's a bit the same. So I make sure that we have enough that covers that for 8 people, 165 grams per day of meat. And of course, that's 165 grams of protein, and we eat eggs and stuff as well. So, you know, it's a measuring stick. And I make sure that we cover that. And when I bought this, I ended up making sure that there was enough that Darryl and I could have double that a day or whatever. And it is within scope of that, but a lot of it is beef that we turned into mince and things like that. And it just may not be quite enough to keep us on track. So I definitely think we'd run out of bacon. And they sell bacon pretty cheap, bacon pieces as well as bacon streaky, cheaper than I bought it anyway. So yeah, I think I'm going to do a bit of a meat order, and I'll cover that in the pricing in the next one, because it will be for more than this 2 months. It's probably like, I probably only need to do one of those bulk meat orders every second supply run to have enough to cover it, but we will see how we go, and we'll see how long we maintain the ketovore carnivore style eating too. I'm definitely going to do a bit more keto in the Christmas week, 2 weeks. I'm going to do some baking with some almond flour and things like that, because it's Christmas and it'd be nice to have a few treats. I do actually have a continuous glucose monitor on at the moment. Not that it sticks very well, which is why it's looking like it is, because I wanted to see what sort of spiking I get. Now, Dexcom has a sample pack as well. This was the Freestyle Libre sample one, and Dexcom has a sample one as well, and Darryl and I are considering buying one each for the lead up to Christmas and across Christmas, to see what, when we're adding in a few more things, what might spike our blood pressures, blood sugars and things like that. Like, normally I buy him a carton of Coke cans for Christmas because it's one of his favourite things. Now, of course, we'll buy sugar-free Coke, but it has a lot of stuff in it that's still not great for you. But it's Christmas. So there's a few, you know. So what we might do is we might get the glucose monitors as well. We can both wear them over that span, and we can see what spikes badly as well. Coke is not something that we have all year round anyway, it's only a Christmas thing, but I'm thinking more like the monk fruit and stuff to use with almond meal to make like the little mini cheesecakes that are semi-carnivore, mostly keto sort of thing, and that sort of stuff. We also have some sugar-free syrup that we want to try in our cold brew, because normally we would use a homemade caramel syrup in our cold brew, but that uses raw sugar, so we might try a sugar-free one and see what it does, because if we're going to maintain this diet long term, then we need to find these things to replace it. And I don't know that strict carnivore is ever going to be something that I'm keen on. He may decide that he wants to do, but for me, I think the ketovore is definitely that sort of thing. So anyway, I've just rambled more again, and that's it for the shopping planning, and I will see you on the next video. Next video will be a food one. I have the notes written out for my first lot of food prep. I just haven't got to recording it yet. I'm going to go and edit this one first. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.